Hi guys, welcome to the Citroen Diaries, and today I am going to be making Jamaican fruit cake. So yes guys, today I'm making Jamaican fruit cake. So let's get right into it. Come along. So this is all the stuff I will be using. Some of the stuff I have pre measured out, but I will tell you along as I go along on everything that I have that is pre-measured. Baking Jamaican fruit cake, you have to bake it from scratch and it is very time consuming. So you have to know what you're doing when you are making this type of cake. I originally had my fruit soaking, which is cherries, prunes, and raisins. Some people put um mixed peel and stuff in there. I am not doing that. I just stick to the basic cherries, prunes, and raisins. And some people soak their fruits for a year. Some people soak it for a couple months. I started soaking mine around September. So it still has good flavor. And this is part of the fruits that was soaked. I just measured some out to start this first batch of cake. I just measured out a portion. I don't like to taste the raisins and stuff in my fruit cake, so I blend my raisins and stuff out. Some people don't, some people do. So guys, this is my sheet that I'm going to be working off because you have to remember everything when you're doing fruit cake so you don't forget a step. So it is best to write down your ingredients and everything that you're going to use. And this method of how I'm going to bake this fruit cake was given to me by one of our family members. So this is what I am going to be using. I'm going to be using her method. So thank you for your method. It is nice. And this is what I'm going to use. So first off, I'm going to start by creaming my butter. And so now we're going to start by creaming our butter and our sugar. And this is our butter and our sugar that we already pre-measured out. So for this recipe, I'm doing a small batch because sometimes when you do a big batch, it is very time consuming and it takes a lot. So my advice when you're baking fruit cakes is start with small batches. So this batch that I'm going to be making, it calls for 2.5 cups of flour, 2 cups of butter, and 2 cups of brown sugar. So 2 cups of butter is equal to 4 sticks of butter, and I'm using some blue bonnet butter. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to try this butter to bake with. I've never tried it, so hopefully it works. So now we're going to add our butter in our mixer. Then we're going to add our sugar, 2 cups. And guys, it's best to measure out your ingredients when you're making fruit cake because it is time consuming. So we are going to see how this turns out. So while this is going, I will tell you everything that I have measured out already. So we're going to start by creaming our butter and our sugar. I'm going to just start at a low speed. And guys, I decided to use a flat beater this time because I realize a lot of times when you use the whisk, it just doesn't get mixed all the way. So I'm going to try my flat beater, and that's what I'm going to use to cream my butter and sugar. So now that we have our butter and sugar creaming, I'm going to tell you all the ingredients that I will be using, and then I'll get into what I'm going to do next. So for this Christmas fruit cake, Jamaican Christmas fruit cake, I'm using 2 cups of butter, 2 cups of brown sugar, 9 large eggs, quarter cup of white rum. If you guys don't have white rum, I don't know what to tell you. You better get white rum because I don't know any other else rum to tell you to use, because this is what it's called for to make this cake nice and flavorful. So that's what you need to get. 1 tablespoon of lime juice, and I'm going to use fresh lime. 1 tablespoon of almond extract, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1 grated lime zest, 2 pounds of chopped soaked mixed fruits, 2 cups of wine or fruit wine, 2.5 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons baking powder, half teaspoon nutmeg, half teaspoon allspice, half teaspoon cinnamon, a pinch of salt, and browning. So if anybody don't know how Jamaican fruit cake looks, I would advise you go to Google and you can see it, because you have to add browning to your fruit cake to give it that nice dark color. So we're going to use browning for that. And that is all that I'm going to be using in this fruit cake. So next, I'm going to start with my eggs, because we have to do 9 eggs. And when I'm doing my eggs, whenever I'm doing my eggs, I like to take the eye of the egg out, as we call it, because I don't want my egg to be raw. And the lime zest, guys, it helps to cut the rawness so that you don't taste any rawness in your cake, because you're using a lot of eggs. And I'm also going to put a little bit of orange zest in the cake as well, just a little bit. So I'm going to do the first one and show you guys. So when I say eye of the egg, I don't know if you guys can see, but that white piece right there, that is what we call the eye, and that is what you want to make sure that you're getting out of your egg before you add it to your cake mixture. It's hard to do sometimes, but it's time consuming, but if you want a good cake, that's what you have to do. So there you go. We've got the eye of the egg out. So that is our first cake. Okay guys, so our egg is all done. We have all our 9 eggs in here. I showed you the first one, how to get that eye out so that your cake is not raw. So this is what it looks like when I've got all my 9 eggs in the bowl. So that's how it looked, guys. So now we are going to, we creamed our butter and our sugar. I've never used this kind of butter before to bake. So I am praying, because when you're making these things, guys, it depends on all of your ingredients, the quality of stuff that you are using in your ingredients. So what I'm going to do, forgot to get out my salt. Oh, I have my salt. So I am going to add some lemon zest into my eggs before I put my lemon juice in. And I'm going to use my zest grater to get that. So we're going to add the lemon juice and the zest into our 9 eggs. And sometimes, guys, when you have lime, you can roll it like this to get juice out. So I'm going to go all the way around with this lime zest. Because we're using a lot of eggs, so you need the zest to cut the rawness off the egg. Because we don't want our cake to smell or taste raw. Like I said, guys, this is very time consuming. So if you want a good cake, you're going to have to spend time. I just hope this butter turns out good. It said on the package that it's great for baking, so that's why I decided to try it. And it was a little cheaper than what I normally use. Because honestly, I normally use Land O'Lakes. I'm going to be baking more of this, so this is just my first batch. Because I normally try to use up all my fruits that I have soaked. So there you have it. And you're not going to get all the zest off of this, guys. So whatever you can get, that's good enough. That is why I add a little bit of orange zest, not the juice of the orange, just a little bit of the zest with my mixture also. I'm going to get my lime squeezer. Let me get this. And for these things, I use a lime squeezer because it's so much easier. So you put your lime in here and you just press, and you don't have to worry about getting any seeds or anything in your mixture. You take it out. Have another one. Put that aside, and then we're going to add some of our orange zest to this. Everybody does this different. You don't have to add your orange zest, but I do a little bit. It's not going to hurt it. It's going to just give it flavor. I like to get all of that off in there. And guys, my hands are clean. I wash my hands constantly. So now we're going to take all of this. This is our lime juice, or lime zest, and some orange zest, and our eggs. And we're going to add it to the mixture. Nora, what are you doing right here, dear? So we're going to add all of this to our cream, butter, and sugar. Yes, guys, doing this cake, it is time consuming. I want to make sure we get all of that. The key thing is measuring out your ingredients and have a game plan, because it is time consuming. There is shortcut methods, but I think you have to be a pro to use them. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but you can try, because everybody have to try to become a pro. So I add that in there. You have to make sure you're scraping your sides down so everything gets mixed in. What are you doing, child? So now I'm going to add my pinch of salt in here. And I got this off Temu and it works pretty good. I don't know why. So a pinch of salt. I'm just going to do this. So this works out for me because this really helps me when I'm cooking too, to minimize using too much salt. So we got our salt. So now I'm going to mix this again. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to start slowly because there's liquid in there, so I don't want to go too fast. And we're going to let that mix in. So now this is our flour right here. So now we're going to add all our rest of our dry ingredients, like our cinnamon, nutmeg, baking powder, some allspice, and we're going to add those in. So I'm going to start with my baking powder, and this calls for 3 teaspoons of baking powder. I don't know where my teaspoon is. It's in the drawer, but I cannot see it because the numbers are rubbed off. So I have a half teaspoon. So I'm going to do 6 of these because 6 of these will equal to 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Let me wash my hands. Sorry, Nora. Nora. So we're going to add our 6. I hope I have 6 in here because I didn't buy any more. I forgot about baking powder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And guys, when you're doing this, you have to keep count because once you add everything in, if you're not counting, you're not going to know all that you have already added in. Get that mixed in. So now I'm going to add half teaspoon of allspice. So I'm using some ground allspice, half teaspoon of this. Try to move this stuff out the way that we already add already. I'm going to add 2 of this because I like cinnamon, so I'm adding 2 half teaspoon, which equals to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to add my nutmeg. So this is a nutmeg grater. It calls for half teaspoon of nutmeg, but I'm just adding until I decide I don't want to add anymore because I love nutmeg also, and I have a whole nutmeg, so these are all natural dried nutmeg. Okay, that's enough. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients together just to make sure that we're getting everything mixed in our flour, all our spices mixed in properly. I think I'm gonna change my whisk. So I'm gonna change my whisk right here. Okay, guys, I decided to change my whisk because at this point you need your, since my butter and sugar is nicely mixed in and there's none left at the bottom, now it's time to change my whisk because like I said, certain ingredients that you get to make your cake, it has a lot to do with how you use your attachments, in my opinion. Everybody else has different opinions, but what I am seeing is with this I need my whisk. So this is what it looks like right now, and I'm going to use this whisk to try to get it mixed in nicely before we start to add our dry ingredients, which is our flour and our spices and our fruits last. So I'm going to try to make sure I scrape all the sides down so everything is getting mixed in here. This is a very popular cake that we normally eat in Jamaica and the Caribbean Christmas time. So now I'm going to start again, and we're going to let that get mixed in properly. Alright guys, so we're done with mixing our butter, sugar, and eggs. So this is what it looks like. And now we're going to add our dry ingredients, which is our flour and our spices. But before we do that, we're going to put our vanilla and our almond extract in, because we're not going to forget that. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of both. So I'm using 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Even though the recipe said half vanilla, I like vanilla. So I'm just going to equal it up to 1 tablespoon of vanilla and 1 tablespoon of almond essence. So we have all of that. And then so now it's time to add our flour mixture. So we add all of these. We're going to add our flour mixture. I'm going to save my 1/4 cup of rum. I'm going to add it to this before I add it into the mixture. So I'm just going to put the rum into my blended fruits before I add it to the flour mixture. So we're going to do our cut and fold method. So we're going to start by adding our flour gently. And then we're going to start cut and fold. I am not too pleased with this butter, but I will see how it turns out. So you guys want to add your flour mixture slowly. You don't want to add all at once. You want to make sure you're spreading it all over slowly. Okay, guys. So you want to make sure, like I said, to add your flour in small portions to make sure that everything gets mixed out properly and there's no lumps. That's why you do that. We're going to use the cut and fold method. Every time I make this, I wonder if I have enough flour because it never seems like I do, but that's what the recipe calls for. So it will start getting thicker and thicker once you add all your flour. Alright guys, so we have our flour all mixed in our mixture, and I'm gonna set my my mixture right here in the sink because my mixing bowl is very tall and I'm short. So I have to be reaching over, and it's very hurtful to my arm because using the cut and fold method, it takes a lot of moving up and down with your arm. So this is where I'm going to keep it so I can mix it in properly. My sink is clean, so don't come for me, please. Thank you. And guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so when we upload new videos, you will be notified. And feel free to drop a comment. So guys, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add my fruits. I'm not going to add all. I'm just going to add a little bit because I don't want it too watery. So I'm going to add the 1/4 cup of rum to my fruit mixture. So that way I'm not adding it to the plain mixture, and then I'm going to mix it in. Some people like to use their whole fruits that they soaked in their Christmas fruit cake. Some people like to blend it out. I prefer it blended, but I'll eat it with the fruits too, but I like it blended out. So I'm not going to measure this, guys. I'm just going to pour until I think the consistency is okay. So I'm going to give this a mix before I add any more. Wow, smells so good. You don't want this too watery. because we still have to add our browning also. So I'm gonna add some more. I think I'm just gonna use all. Make sure it has that. All right, guys, so I just used all of that blended fruit that I had, so that should be good. Make me smell it. Okay, so there is it, guys. This is how it's looking. So now I'm going to add the final step, which is our browning. So we're going to add our browning. And I'm going to start with, I don't want to over pour too much browning, so I'm going to just measure it out. I'm going to start with 5 of these. So I'm starting with 5 tablespoons of browning. Some people like it really dark, some people don't. And we should always remember, once it starts baking, it's going to get darker, so you don't want to get it too dark. Okay, guys, so we got everything done mixed. Look at how we looking. So that is how it looks. I originally pre-greased and floured my baking dishes, and I decided that I am going to use small baking dishes this time and try it out to see how it does, because normally when you're baking fruit cake and you bake like big foil pans of fruit cake, it takes so long to get done. So I decided to do small containers, and I'm going to give some away because I always do at Christmas time. So I'm going to give some away too. So that's why I decided to use these small pans and see. So I'm going to start filling my pans. And like I said, I pre-greased and floured these earlier. You have to do that, guys, when you're making fruit cake. You have to make sure you pre-grease your stuff. And you don't want to fill them up too much, but just enough. So these mini loaves will be good. And if you have a little bit, like when you're done filling your foil pans, if you have just a little bit left, you can just spread it along all of your pans that you have already filled. So there you have our 4 already going. So we're gonna just continue to fill. Okay, guys, so we got all our mixture panned up. Like I said, I'm gonna make another batch. This is my first batch. I'm just test running these pans out because I've never used these small ones before. So this is my trial run / good run. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So remember again, guys, like, share, subscribe. You can drop a comment, hit that notification bell, so when we upload new videos you will be notified. It's time to get our cakes in the oven, so I'm gonna put them in the oven, guys, and when they get done I will show you the end result. We won't be able to cut it on camera because it is going to be still hot, and these type of cake you have to let them cool and pour more wine over them and let them sit and soak in all the goodness. So we ain't gonna be cutting nothing on here tonight. So we will be right back with you after we get these in the oven to show you what they look like when they get done. See you then. All right, guys, so our cakes is all done and this is what they look like. Just come out of the oven. Look at it, guys. Nice. And this way that I did the cake in the small containers, it's still hot because it just came out of the oven. I think it's take less time. I'm going to taste it after it's cool and done and see how it tastes. I won't taste it now because it's very hot, and these type of cake you have to let them sit, and I'm going to pour wine over them so they can sit a little bit. So hopefully it tastes good. I'm not doubting myself. I just wanted to see how they would turn out in smaller pans and take less time, because when you have them in bigger pans they take so long to get done. So I have some wine right here, and I have some more right here, and some white rum right here. Normally we use red label wine in Jamaica, but red label wine is very hard to get in the US, especially where I am at. So I have to improvise with what I have. So a port wine is still good enough. So these are port wines, and that is why I got these. So I'm going to just mix a little bit of each, and then I will pour over my cakes. So I'm just going to mix them into this small bottle. And then I'm going to shake it up and pour over these cakes. You have to pour while it's hot. I won't use all of this, but I will just measure it. So I'm going to shake it up. I'm thinking that I'm going to use scoop, so I'm not pouring a lot. So you want to get some of the wine on the cakes while it's still hot and let it soak in. And this will keep the cake nice and moist. I might use all, so we'll see. So this way that I did it, oops, it did not take a lot of time. And that's what I like, because when it takes a lot of time, it takes long to get done, and then everybody's tired. And so yes, guys, this is what you do with your cake, your food cake. Get all that moisture in there. Don't worry, it will soak it up, guys. Trust me. It's gonna soak it in. All right, so there you have it. Get all the ends nice and soft. So what we're gonna do now, we are going to let this cool. So that is the end of my fruit cake baking for tonight. I'm done. I'm excited to taste it, but first I need to let this wine soak all nicely in it before we taste. So, until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed my baking. Um, and maybe I will bake some more because I have another batch of fruit left. So I will bake it off. I won't let it go to waste because you can only keep it for so long, even though the wine and stuff is in there. So guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so when we upload new videos, you will be notified. Also, please drop a comment. Anything that you want to say, just comment under these videos and let me know. I know I will check them and respond to them when I can. So, here we are. Until next time, guys.